Hey, Frank, Jody, Jim, how you doing? Yeah, it's bright sunshine here today. No ships, but yeah, bright sunshine. Jim, I'm glad to hear you're doing a little better. Yep. Yeah, it's only 35 degrees here, so it's a bit brisk. Yeah, I know, Frank. That's what they're talking about. Jody, is it the possibility of snow over the weekend? Yep, I'm with you, Jim. Not happy about snow or the cold. Brenda's sitting down there in Florida, just loving it, I would imagine. Of course, she gets cold when it gets to be 60 degrees. It's all in what you get used to. Yep, Jody, that's right. You got to get as many of the leaves up as you can. But you know, the problem is I got some big trees around here and they still got leaves on them. Well, thank you, 12 people, for watching. I'm always glad to have you. Yep, yes, they did, Jim. They got the camera up and running. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Hello, Mark.
Good morning, Paul.
How are you to this fine day?
Not too bad, though it is trying to rain a bit.
Oh, it's rainy weather over there. Bright
It's
sunshine, but it's only 34 degrees here.
16 degrees centigrade. Which is
About 40 some degrees, isn't it?
tell you in a sec. No, 60.
Oh, 60, okay. What I wouldn't give for at least 50 to 60-degree weather, but this 34 degrees is it sucks.
Yeah. 9 mile an hour winds with 16 mile an hour gusts, it says,
Ah,
which is nothing really.
no. My problem is, I like to fly the ships and there isn't any ships to fly. So,
Yeah, true. It was sunnier this morning, but it's all clouded over and it tried to rain a minute ago. It seems to have decided not to now. Raiders versus Broncos tonight, isn't it?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Let me see what channel that'd be on.
it's like 8:15 or something. And the Raiders are 2 and 6. The Broncos are 7 and 2.
What time is it at? I think 7, 8 o'clock.
8:15. It's at the Broncos. Denver, that's mountain time, in it.
Yeah.
So that'll be what?
Denver is 3 hours difference.
Yeah, about 5:15 their time. That's an early kickoff.
Here comes Justin. Hey, Justin.
Morning, Justin.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm just sitting here waiting for this dexterity class to start. I gotta go do.
Dexterity class?
Yeah. See if I can run from the front of the bus to the back of the bus.
Really?
Yeah, it takes you have 30 seconds to do it, and that's it. Hell.
Wow.
And I don't know why everybody's pissed off because they started the class at 10 o'clock. But everybody gets back to the yard by 8:39. It's like, why didn't they start it at 9 o'clock? Everybody could have been out of there.
Yeah, true.
So you got to sit there and wait till 10 o'clock to take your dexterity test?
Yeah, that's going to take a whole 30 seconds, literally. It's fucking the stupidest shit ever. And then they put these stairs at the back of the bus like they're just going to haul stairs around with us for an emergency. Instead of making you get out the fucking bus like you're supposed to. They were like, well, too many people were falling and hurting themselves. Like, really?
Well, if they're exiting out the back door, if they get a sprain or a strain, that's better off than burning up in the bus, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is in an emergency, they're not going to bring the stairs to us.
No, not really.
Like, you should be practicing exactly how you would be doing it.
That's right.
What's up, Jim, Brenda?
Yeah, if they want you to do that, they should fold out stairs at the back of the bus.
I'm actually surprised they don't have like a pull-out ramp like the moving trucks have, you know?
Yeah.
For emergencies for the wheelchairs, because you ain't going to get a wheelchair off very quick as slow as those ramps move. You're going to be grabbing that kid, opening that back door, and you're going to kick his fucking chair out the back door. That's about all you can do. Or drag his ass out, one of the two.
Yeah.
You know, you would think they would have a pull-down ramp or like a telescoping set of stairs or something that would come down, you know?
Well, stairs aren't going to be any good if you've got wheelchairs to use.
Well, no, but I'm saying they should have something in the back door.
Yeah, it should definitely be a ramp. Even if it's one that folds down rather than, a pull-out one would be ideal, but even one that just folded down would be okay.
Yeah, because we wouldn't be able to do a fold-down one because it'd block the back windows, and legally you can't do that.
Good morning, Brenda.
But a slide-in one would be perfect for a bus because a bus is like 40-some feet. You don't need
Yeah.
that long of a ramp. Just slide right under the floorboard into the bus. Wouldn't even see it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that scares me. Like if something actually did happen, I'm gonna have to deal with trying to get wheelchair kids out of the bus, and there's real no good way of doing it. Especially if the bus is on fire, you're literally gonna have to drag them out of their chair and drag them off the bus.
Right.
And how many wheelchairs do you have on the bus?
Well, currently I only have one at the moment, but
Yeah.
still, that's, you know.
But even just one's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, and some of these kids ain't the tiniest neither because they don't get much exercise being in a chair.
Yeah, true.
So,
And when you open the back door, how high is the step down to the ground?
it's a good 3.5, 4 foot. It's pretty
Yeah.
far. It's a pretty far drop.
Yeah, it's quite a long way, isn't
What you need is a wheelchair launcher.
it?
Well, the thing too is buses are like RVs, man. When they catch up, they're like a fucking tinderbox. I mean, they go up quick. I mean, RVs are like that, man. And if RV catches on fire, a lot of times, like when RVs and even mobile homes catch on fire, you know, unless there's an immediate danger to somebody in the house, the fire departments a lot of times won't even try to put them out. They'll just let them burn down because there's no saving them. They catch up that quick. By the time they get there, the shit's damn near burnt to the ground.
Here comes Jason.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey,
Morning.
Jason, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Doing very well.
Bright sunshine there, huh?
Holy cow, it's hot outside. It's 55 degrees. I'm sweating.
It's chilly here. It's only 35 degrees.
It's
Nice.
66 here right now.
Oh my gosh.
That's really
Yeah.
nice outside here.
I'll bet. Well, that's Florida for you, right?
Yeah, and just a slight cloud cover. But next, starting Monday, it's going to be down in the low 40s in the morning
I mean, it's
Oh, nice.
and
60.
the low 60s during the day.
It's 60 here today.
Yeah. I heard you talking about evacuating kids from the bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool you're thinking about that, though.
Well, you
The
know what
school hasn't, figured it out yet.
he's sitting there right now, Jason. He's got to take a test that he can run from the front to the back of the bus in 30 seconds.
with a 40-pound sandbag on your shoulder.
Nah, hell no, because half the bus drivers wouldn't be able to do it.
Maybe they
About
should.
90.
Maybe
No,
they
about
should.
90. Go ahead.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Right.
Mike.
Maybe they should fit one of them inflatable ramps like they do on airplanes.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest. Till it fucking deploys in the middle of traffic on accident.
Yeah.
If I can take somebody's windshield out.
Yeah, what the debate's been, Jason, is that there isn't a whole lot of devices set up in a bus for when you got a kid in a wheelchair for evacuating them quickly.
Don't the kids in wheelchairs have their other bus though that has that ramp that lowers and raises?
Yeah, it does,
You're
but
putting
the
them on a regular
problem
bus?
is, yeah, they have it, but the problem is if the bus was on fire or something, you wouldn't be able to. Those ramps move so slow, you wouldn't have time to use it. And some
Yeah,
buses
but I mean-
have 2 or 3 kids on it, wheelchair kids on them.
Oh, okay. It's not like, I guess where I grew up, the kids that had wheelchairs, there
They
were
went
not
on
that many of
separate
them.
bus,
They had
right?
their own bus.
Yeah.
Well,
but
yeah,
isn't that lift worked by hydraulics that works from the
engine.
yeah,
so if the
yeah. It's
engine's not
hydraulics. It
if
does
the,
have a manual, though.
if the engine's not working, it makes it a bit awkward.
Well,
Well,
do you
it
have
does
that on
have
your
a
bus right now?
manual, but it does have a manual jack though for emergencies, like if it stops
Right.
working.
But it's only good for one wheelchair. If you had 3 or 4 kids in wheelchairs on your bus, the first one liable to get out, but the other 2 will be at the top waiting for it to come back up.
Yeah,
And
and
what-
it takes like 70 or 80 pumps to get that fucking thing back up.
What they're going to
So
do
it
if
sounds like you're
something,
carrying the kids off the bus if you have to, huh?
Yeah.
what happens if something plows into the back of the bus and you can't use that ramp? How are you going to get the wheelchair down the stairs at the front of the bus?
Fold it up and take it out.
You wouldn't be able to.
You put the kid on your shoulder and you carry it out. Fold it up. Get yourself
I mean,
a
that's
fire
all you-
retardant suit there, Justin. Put it on your
That's all
suit.
you can do. I mean, there's just no good way of doing it.
Yeah, you just bend
Yep.
over and say, "Get on my back, kid. Get on my back."
Yep.
But the interesting thing is speaking as a big guy, is that a lot of the kids in wheelchairs aren't petite and small.
But Justin's a big bear, so he can do it.
What's up, Dusty?
What's up, Dusty?
Yeah, the wheelchair ramps are on the side of the bus,
Dusty.
yeah, not the back.
Yeah, because if there's a
Emergency
fire, you're not
exit
gonna be
would-
jacking around with a ramp. You're gonna be picking that kid up and be like, "Yo, let's get out now, kid." You know,
That's all you
Like-
can do. I mean,
that drag strength is gonna kick in, and you'll probably put 2 of those kids on your shoulders, and then the kids are like a couple kids hanging on your back, taking them out of the bus.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
but no, half the drivers wouldn't be able to do that anyway with the sandbag. The majority of the drivers and attendants, there's maybe 7 of us that are 40 and under. All the rest of them are like
Yeah.
in their 60s. They'd fucking break a hip trying to do that.
East Coast, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Do you have one of the long buses, Justin?
It's 40, I think it's like 43 feet or something.
Yeah, that's one of the long buses, I think.
How,
Well,
how
the
many,
flat-
how many kids can be on the bus?
On our bus, we can fit, I think, 46 in the seats.
Nice.
And then we have 3 spots for wheelchairs.
So it's almost 50.
Yeah, on a regular bus, like that doesn't have wheelchairs or anything, you can fit like 67, I think.
67, okay.
But those pusher
So-
buses, the ones that are flat on the front, those are even longer. They're like, I think, 53 feet or something. They're pretty long. Those
What do you
ones
call
can
it?
fit a
That's
lot
called
of
a pusher bus?
Yeah, the ones that are flat on the front. Yeah, we don't use those kind of buses.
Oh,
Yeah, the
A
ones
lot
with
of
the engines at the back.
Yeah, a lot of school districts stopped using those. There's still some that do, but a lot of school districts stopped using them because they found that most of their accidents were from rear ends, and it pushes the motor up through the floor. So
oh wow.
they're actually kind of dangerous buses, to be honest.
To be honest, all of that, I think all of our buses now are engines at the back.
Yeah, the motors will tend to push up through the floor on those if a big enough vehicle smacks it fast enough and hard
Wow.
enough. That's why our district stopped using them. Apparently they had an accident like that years ago, and they ended up getting rid of them, and they weren't the only school district to do it. So,
And we don't have steps at the front to get up into them either because the front of the bus is with the engine being at the back, it means that the front of the bus where the door is almost level with the curb. And they have a fold out ramp inside the door that will fold up and over to allow wheelchairs and prams and stuff to get in.
Oh no, our buses sit a lot higher than that. Like if it can wheelchair, yeah, our buses sit probably a good 3.5, maybe 4.5 feet off the ground.
So it's about 5 steps up into the bus?
Yeah. Now the stairs that the kids get on at the front of the bus, they're about maybe the first step's probably about 6 or 7 inches off the ground. And they have to step up, and then they go up 4 steps to get up in the bus.
Yeah, that's because the engine, the gearbox, and the prop shaft all run under the floor. Whereas with the pushers, everything's at the back. It doesn't have anything underneath the floor, so the floor can be lower.
Yeah.
No, that's not the real reason. It's in case they run over someone and can get over the ego. Our buses have hydraulics, and they lower the when they get to a bus stop, they actually lower to the floor.
Yeah, it's hydraulic. Yeah, the front of the bus will lower down on hydraulics on ours as well.
Oh yeah, if you're in a small enough car and you rear end one of our buses, you're going to go up underneath it. For some reason, they require these bars that hang lower than the tractor trailers, the 18-wheelers on their trailers. They have to. There's a safety bar that hangs lower than the trailer. That way, if you hit it, it helps prevent your car from going there. For some reason, buses don't have to have that, but they've had a couple of cars rear end our buses and go right the fuck underneath it and just chop the whole half of the roof off. So I don't know why they don't require buses to have that. But.
Maybe
if you're in a car like mine or a little Prius, yeah, you're gonna be fucked if you were in that thing at a high speed.
Maybe it's an education thing, you know. Should have learned not to go under the bus.
Yeah, right. Hey, there's a big yellow bus in front of you. You shouldn't be that close to it in the first place. Pay attention. You know,
most of our
dumbasses hitting buses. That's ridiculous to me.
Like 9 out of 10 of the accidents our buses have is because somebody rear-ended them. It's usually not any other way. It's usually because somebody came up to a stoplight or something, wasn't paying attention, boom, right in the ass end of them.
All right, fellas, I'm going to take off. Have a good day, everyone.
Jason, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon.
All right, see you guys.
Yep, bye-bye.
Hey, Jason.
So we did have a bus about a month and a half ago joust somebody's car with the stop arm. Because we have a big yellow stop arm that flings out in front of the bus to give the kids room between the front of the bus and where they cross, you know, so they're not right in front of the bus. They're supposed to walk on that side of the arm. And fucking the driver didn't put it in, and he went forward, boom, right in the side of some chick's car and dented the shit out of her door.
Yeah. You guys realize your kids don't have to go to school in an armored tank. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
See, our buses are great over here. You go under a bridge and lose the roof. Next time you see it's on the seafront as an open top bus.
Yeah, our buses are pretty tough as far as the bumper and the frame. Because one bus nailed a fucking big ass bore out on 60 about a month ago. I mean, it was a big, huge bore, and all it did was dent the bumper. But he fucking obliterated that bore.
Jim's daughter drives a school bus.
What's up, Russell?
Good question. Nichols has got the day off today, so I don't know where he is. Oh, no. No, he won't. Yesterday he had a day off. Said he was in Thursday, off Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, he went flying with Alex yesterday, apparently.
Yeah, he went live on Facebook for about 15 minutes. I said a couple things to him in his chat, and then he ended it right when they were about to go flying.
You go in that blue box at Lending Tears. In pocket deals.
Yeah. Johnny gave away an SD card last night on his thing, and Joe won it.
Just take it over to him.
It was quite interesting last night, actually, because he had Jack on half chrome, and I don't think he's ever been on anybody else's show before.
Who? Who was it?
Jack half chrome.
I don't know who that is.
Don't know him.
Is he a pretty big channel or something?
He's quite a big channel, yeah.
Didn't he have, was it him that had 51 drones on not too long ago?
Yeah, I think Johnny did have 51 drones, Russell. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks back or something.
Yeah.
And he never goes on hardly anybody's shows. That was surprising. Yeah, he doesn't really interact with a lot of people publicly, maybe behind the scenes on YouTube, but yeah, he doesn't do a lot of public interactions, it seems like, on people's shows and stuff. Wonder how many people Johnny drew into the show with having him on there. He had to have pretty good numbers on that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he averages, what, about 30 to 50 people on average?
Something like that.
I talked to Matt. Matt called me this morning.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What do you
I
have
think
to
he
say?
had something like 43 entries for the competition, so he must have had pretty much about 50 on.
I was just, Matt called me because he was asking me about that Windows 10 update for the security thing, so I told him how to do it so he could do it when he got home. He didn't know that there was a security update for it that you have to opt into.
Turns out it's a lot of fucking crap anyway. They'll only give you major security updates now.
Well, they're not updating the look of it or anything like that. They're just going to give you some simple security updates every week or two. But it's definitely smart to get that done, though, because I can almost guarantee you people are probing, looking for computers that haven't done it yet. Because if you don't opt into it, you're literally on the old security after a couple of months, you know. And then they're going to start looking for computers that don't have it.
I actually think everyone's going to still get the update.
Well, at the moment, it's not forcing you to do it, and it doesn't auto do it because you have to check the agree box in order to do it. Because when I did it on Kelsey's computer, a box came up and it said the Windows 10 year extension update or something, and I had to actually hit the agree boxes in order to download it and install it on a computer. I told Matt, I said, even if you got auto updates on, I don't think it's going to auto update that. You're going to have to go in there and go to
Thanks.
your Windows updates, scan for them, and it should pop up and tell you.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell Microsoft that they can update the terms and conditions all they want, but the conditions I accepted at the start are the only ones I have to follow.
Oh, I love when companies try to say, that never said that in our terms and conditions, when they end up changing it on people and they don't realize it. And then they go back in like the Wayback Machine and shit like that, and they pull up Microsoft's or whoever's company's shit, and they start looking at it, and they're like, yep, completely different. Because companies have tried to do that, where they secretly changed it. They didn't have you re-agree to it. They just went in and changed it, and then tried to say it was said that the whole time. And then people went back and looked in the history of the internet, through Wayback Machine and those different websites you can go to, and found copies of it, because they record everything that anybody puts on the internet.
Everybody is probably falling foul of the terms of this new security update thing. Have you logged into your Microsoft account? Dustin?
What?
Since the
Sorry, I was reading Dusty's.
It doesn't affect you, but anyone else has done the extended security update for Windows 10, don't forget that every 30 days you must have logged into your Microsoft account. And that doesn't mean just go to the Microsoft page, like some people think. No, you have to go onto the Microsoft page and go to your profile and just scroll through it for a minute, and it will accept that you've been there. It's in the terms.
I guess, Dusty, there's pictures of your wing on the internet somewhere. I don't know. What was this question there? Question, is DJI drones the only thing that the government is banning from China? No, they banned tons of shit, dude. They got a ban list that's been around for 5 years or so, and there's hundreds of companies already on there. They were actually talking about banning TP-Link because they found security flaws in their what do you want to call it, the
Software.
in the software for your routers. And that was proven too. That's not a conspiracy. There was a couple of channels on YouTube that covered it, that showed it, that broke it down and everything. And they even did the testing right there.
Not
I don't remember exactly what it was doing. I don't remember what the whole deal was of what the security flaw was, but yeah, there was a couple channels that covered it. But the problem is TP-Link is like one of the biggest manufacturers for those, so. And a lot of people use TP-Link. I mean, TP-Link makes a lot of different products. Bluetooth receivers, they make Ethernet switches, all kinds of shit. Yeah, but most of the computer components, Dusty, most of those chips are coming from Taiwan, not China. They have like 90% of the fucking manufacturing for that worldwide. That's why Taiwan is so rich, like wealthy as a small country.
Yeah, that's why China are trying to get them back.
Yep, they want that chip manufacturing. But if you notice, Taiwan's moving a lot of their chip manufacturing into other nations around the globe. I think they're planning on that happening. As they're moving a few plants to the U.S., they're moving some stuff to other countries, other Asian countries. If they were smart, I would move all that shit off that island, to be honest with you. And you set up your headquarters to self-destruct the minute those fuckers come on there. That way they don't get any of the proprietary information. I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have any of that on that island. I'd run it all off site. I mean, because I guarantee you, China's gonna take Taiwan at some point. They're gonna attempt it.
No, I'm not convinced.
I think if they put a U.S. naval base there, it would stop that. But
There is
my opinion.
more to
Yeah.
China than Taiwan. You got to look at the long roads that they want to build.
Yeah, but they want Taiwan because of that. Plus, they want to repatriate it too. So because they feel like they own it. I mean, there is some U.S. military people there, but they're mostly special forces that train their military, but
The
not
problem,
officially there.
yeah. The problem is, if China was to go after Taiwan, they run the risk of destabilizing the whole country. Because if they don't take Taiwan, because other countries are going to defend it. If they do not take Taiwan, it's going to open up their country to falling apart, a bit like the Soviet Union did. Sometimes it's better just leaving something you want alone.
Well, their
Like
biggest
Putin
problem
did.
is, their biggest problem would be trying to get a landing party on the island. That's their biggest issue. And and historically, I mean, the technology is different these days, but in most past wars, trying to get a beachhead even on an island was not the easiest thing to do.
Paul, why do you want to eat half a biscuit?
Boone.
I mean, I mean, Germany had a hell of a time wanting to try to take England. They didn't get it.
Well, it's like Russia and Ukraine. They're at it all the time too.
Yeah, but Ukraine's not an island. I'm talking about getting a beachhead on an island is not an easy thing to do.
That's
Or even on
why.
a coastline.
That's why the United Kingdom has been so strong, because we are an island,
Yeah.
and it's not an island the size of Australia where you could invade from one side or another. We're a pretty small island.
No, they didn't invent chimp manufacturing, Dusty. They just happen to take most of the market. There was a lot of chip manufacturing in the U.S. back in the 70s and 80s. And
think so, don't we?
when it moved all overseas, Taiwan pretty much took the bulk of it.
Who said what now? Here comes the legal representative.
Morning, Greg.
Morning, Trey. What did Justin say that was wrong? Can't hear you. Your mic's out.
I thought he was on vacation.
Ian,
He's going to
no
Vegas.
microphone.
Yeah, I thought he was leaving today from what everybody was saying yesterday.
His microphone went ahead of him. There he is.
I was trying to find out, when did Germany try to do an amphibious landing on England? They try to bomb England to submission. They never tried to do an amphibious landing. So somebody enlighten me on this attempt of an amphibious landing on the shores of England.
Well, they did plan it.
Yeah,
They
but-
just never actually managed to do it.
Well, there's a difference between bombing through the air and putting troops on a beachhead. You know, the ancient art of war is you occupy territory. So when you do amphibious landing, you are occupying territory. When you're doing aerial bombardment, you are trying to submit and destroy whatever infrastructure or troop placement that England may have had. There's a big difference. And they almost succeeded, except for one little fat man, Churchill, was lucky enough to be the prime minister because everybody around him told him to sue for peace. So somebody tell me when I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
We had a hell of a lot
I'm just saying. You just
on our beaches.
all Dre said was someone tell him he's wrong, so I'm saying he's wrong. I'm not meaning he is wrong. I'm just saying he asked for someone to tell him he's wrong. So I've done it.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Sunstar. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to think. I said, what part of the history I missed out on? Because I'm sure there would have been a movie about it by now.
Well, we had a lot of defenses on our beaches. We were prepared for it.
Oh yeah, but like I say, what would have been a smart move? I would not come to the southern coast of England if I want to do amphibious landing because you got the high cliffs at one part, and like I say, I would have came to the north, coming through the very northern tip, and come down. I keep bombing
That's a very, very bad move.
No,
Yeah,
that's a smart
Landing in
move.
Scotland.
You come in from the north end. The distance between the occupied territories that Germany had during World War II, going through the north of England would have been a route because they had the supply line secured.
Right. But when you say the north of England, do you mean the north of actual England or Scotland?
Scotland. You come down, you come into Scotland, and you just send waves down and continue bombing the south.
Well, there's a reason why you don't invade the UK from Scotland. As the Scottish found out, it's not that easy to come down from Scotland down to England because you've got the hills, the Pennines. It's just not military suitable land.
Yeah, the M74 is terrible.
Yeah,
like they really want to
use
use that route, huh? I'm just saying, once they would have took over to Scotland, established not just a beachhead, but even airfields and everything else that you do when you occupy territory, just like the Japanese did for all the islands in the South Pacific, it makes it harder to try to take them back.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's why we built Hadrian's Wall.
No. Right. So if you come in through Scotland, you have to come. You're going to have to come from the northeast side of Scotland because that's where land is. The problem is the beaches are not stable enough to get any amphibious craft across there. They're collapsing as it is. Right? So it's a no-no. You couldn't come from the northwest of Scotland because the seas are so rough.
Right, which the Germans already controlled that with the U-boats.
Well, they wouldn't have got onto the land because the seas are so rough.
Yeah. Like I say, Germany just didn't, like I said, the amphibious landing was their biggest mistake, not doing it. They controlled the western part of the shoreline with the U-boats, and that's why they struggled so much to get, supplies and everything else and manpower in until the U.S. stepped in to help out. And like I say, they were bombing everything coming out of France, flying from France right across the channel, bombing because they had bases, they had air bases in France.
When you said the US came to help, don't you mean you just brought your mop buckets to clean up what we'd already done?
Whatever. Whatever. I'm just saying that.
Right?
No, it's not that I know.
That US plane landed, they all came out with the mop buckets, the sweeping brushes, and the shark hoovers and started going around.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that if the Germans would have been smart on that, that's one things they didn't do right. They had all the pieces in place. They should have did an amphibious landing in Scotland, and they could have.
Trust me, it would.
Well, you said it wouldn't have worked, but see, they controlled the shipping lanes of the northern part of the North Sea. You said that it matter. You
Even
eventually
coming-
it would wore down.
You
You're
try to come by
surrounded.
land. So if you try to come by land from Scotland,
Hmm.
right? Even our train lines struggle with this, right? Because the lay of the land, the hills, the locks, the the mountains, it's just not suitable. By the time they'd landed on the beaches, we'd have been up there fast as you can say boo, because it's easier to go from England into Scotland than it is from Scotland into England. It's just the lay of the land.
Yeah, like I say, David, it didn't have to happen overnight. If they would have occupied Scotland territory, they already controlled the eastern part with the U-boats. They were bombing you guys into submission from coming out of France. And like I said, you basically, England itself would have been surrounded. Like I said, when Germany came in to a lot of other neighboring countries, it was done within hours. And then by the end of a week, they had already taken over a lot of smaller countries, Austria, going towards Poland, going towards the Netherlands. And then, like I say, France would put up a little bit of fight that lasted maybe about a month, and they finally rolled into Paris.
All I'm going to say is what happened in World War One and Two was Germany
And they the ones who got the
and that all lived on succeeded on the fact that no one was prepared.
I slept in between.
Yeah. The UK has always been prepared for war, always. So taking the UK would have been harder than anyone thinks.
I'm not saying it would have been easy. I mean, war is war. It's nothing easy. I mean, you get like you said, the conditions, the weather, all these things will have to come into play, which means most likely they would have needed to start this offensive move, say around April on the calendar year, and they would have to have a plan to say we need to be by this mark by August. Because going into the winter months, they know what turned to a big slog.
But Germany wouldn't have had the firepower to take one of the things they did do wrong was they overstretched their army.
Yes. And that was a part of the concern because, like I say, when they're fighting against Russia on another front, trying to hold that back, and that's why I said, that's why I think if you look at World War I, World War II, Germany never did amphibious landings anywhere. So they didn't have a lot of knowledge in doing it. Everything they fought was basically connected land.
Well, that's because they're mainly a landlocked country.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So their experience was very limited. But I'm saying if they would have done that, they could have would have had England surrounded by three sides, basically four sides. And it could have changed the tide of the war because of their inexperience in amphibious warfare and stuff. They did good on shipping. I mean, they did great in World War I, and like I said, the U-boats were the biggest threat in World War II. So they had learned a lot.
You actually underestimate the powers of the Scottish.
The Scottish didn't have the military hardware forces anything to stop them.
No. They don't need that. You step on a Scottish person's land, right? It's a whole ball game.
Well, I was going to say the better defense, David, was just try to serve them some of your food, and that would have stopped everything. They said, we don't want to come to this country with this food. They can keep it. Just go out there and serve a bunch of what they call blood pie or whatever it is.
Black pudding.
Black pudding. Serve them some black pudding and that some of that sheepskin, whatever you call it.
Haggis.
Haggis. That everybody say, you know what, y'all can keep this place. Keep it all to yourselves.
Just remember, if you're in war with the UK, if we give you a Yorkshire pudding, it may be your last meal.
That's why I say you guys would have served them. I say, oh, come on in here. We'll have a big banquet for you. It'd have been like in Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding.
Well, during the Battle of the Roses, Lancashire versus Yorkshire houses, they the people of Yorkshire had been cut off from the food supply and everything. So the Lancashire side decided, we've got an idea. We're going to provide food for the people of Yorkshire, and they served these meals in the Yorkshire pudding, which was like a plate.
Mm-hmm.
The food inside the Yorkshire pudding, all genuine. The Yorkshire pudding itself was poisonous.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yep.
that's what they played on. They said, "Enjoy your food. Don't forget, eat the pudding."
Yeah. Yeah. Where Justin tiptoe off to?
Don't know.
He's got a meeting at 10, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to say he's got a nervous tick and Dre set it off.
He's got to prove he can run from the front to the back of the bus in less than 30 seconds.
Oh God!
Well, all they gotta do is put a breakfast burrito at the end of it.
I'm not being funny. Run from the front of the bus to the back of the bus in 30 seconds. You could walk it going backwards, blindfolded, and on your arse.
Yeah.
It's not that long.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. No, but I will be leaving this, since Justin brought it up, I will be leaving this afternoon heading for Vegas. It's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour if I drive slow.
Bring the other.
The good old Vegas.
Yeah. So I will do probably a little bit of a live stream showing pictures and stuff of what's going on, since I didn't do my live stream Sunday.
Look at that.
I was over at my parents' house Sunday.
Some glamour lights and stuff.
Yeah. So I plan on doing something like that while I'm there, do a little bit of live streaming and
Oh God, yeah, that was.
That'd be cool.
yeah.
You smell it.
Where did Paul jump off to go fly a ship already?
No, he just walked away.
I agree. Say he's probably getting some snow today. I think I saw the weather report correctly.
Yeah, they can keep that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yep. We're supposed to be cooling down.
So what's the temp out there? You said, Mark, about 10 degrees,
It's 16.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
16.
Okay, we can break out the shorts and t-shirts now, huh?
yeah. It's getting warm. Heat wave.
Yeah.
You got to remember, in the UK, unless the temperature drops below -2, the post is always in shorts.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah. Paul, you guys getting snow today?
No, tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday.
So okay, Saturday and Sunday. Okay.
We want to see you build a
It's
snowman.
almost cold enough. It's only 40 degrees here.
And we're supposed to hit 90 by Sunday.
You see, everybody says this. It's not cold enough. It's not about how cold it is
No.
on our level. It could be 20 degrees on our level.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's cold enough upwards, then it's
Right.
going to come down. It just won't stick.
Well, I know the
That's the
general
difference.
consensus is that when it's extremely cold, you won't get snow. Everything just freezes. But
Yeah.
is that in between 30 something and less than 40? That's when you get more snow, not
The ideal-
sub-zero.
Yeah, they say the
Sub-zero.
ideal temperature is 2 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Coming when it's gone from like a really minus temperature upwards.
Right.
But that doesn't really matter because technically it snows everywhere every day because when it leaves the clouds, it starts to snow. It's all about the atmosphere and how cold it is up there before it gets to you, before it decides it's rain or snow
Mm.
or hailstone.
Yeah. I know. I'm reading the chat here. I'm just seeing what Dusty put in about Taiwan and Vietnam. Taiwan didn't invent anything. They just become the most prolific manufacturer.
Yeah.
Most of your components initially were invented.
Either America, the UK,
Yeah.
or Japan.
Yeah, America is a heavy. America has always, I can say, been a heavy inventor. We're just not big in manufacturing.
Yeah.
So that's what that. So I hope that sped up your the concrete drying up process.
Yeah. And then
Which-
the Japanese perfected it and miniaturized it.
Right. And I say, Japan used to, like say, be the big manufacturer before Taiwan, because same thing. We would, invent something here in the States, and then Japan, like you say, would re-engineering it, and make it smaller, more efficient, last longer, and go from there. Because I've been reading a lot of the being in home theater, hi-fi realm, one of my hobbies. And we're talking about all the old Japanese companies that started right after World War II, and so to speak. And there was a lot of companies like like Sansui. What was another one? The ones who made the Dragon cassette deck, Nakamichi. Companies like that were all Japanese companies that made awesome products, especially around the 60s and 70s. These guys were the giants in electronics. And like I said, they made some of the big mistakes that, made here in the States. They didn't either evolve with the industry, or their high level of perfection, that what they always tried to strive for, became too expensive. So a lot of them fell out. Right around the, in talking about in hi-fi gear, right around between when the CD came out, a lot of those companies died off. A lot of them didn't adapt to the digital format. They were still used to the analog format.
Yeah. That's pretty much why the Japanese took over the electronics, the motor cars, and the motorbike.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. They just
Because
learned to build a better product.
Yeah, they made stuff that was longer lasting.
Yeah. I remember my
Yeah.
dad bought 1974. He bought his first Honda,
Bye,
the
Jim.
the CVCC, and a lot of people would laugh and snicker and stuff like that. Now Honda is one of the most prolific auto manufacturers on the planet.
Yeah.
Because of the durability of their product. Not because they made the fastest, the flashiest, anything else. It's just a thing would just keep running. And Toyota's another example of that. With Toyota, they say, buying a Toyota or a Lexus, which they're interchangeable engine parts, because it's the same company.
Yeah.
Are the most reliable, vehicles on the road.
Yeah. And Datsun and became Nissan.
Yeah. And they slipped a little bit, but yeah, Honda and Toyota are still top. Any list that you'll see, as far as the most reliable or durable vehicles, you're always going to see Toyota and Honda top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty much.
And Mitsubishi.
Yeah, Mitsubishi, like I said, they're one of those companies that did a little bit everything. I have a Mitsubishi VHS machine sitting up in the rafters in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the nicest ones. It was back then, it had the S video connecting. It was had the HD analog connectors on the back. It was awesome, but the format went away. And I think Mitsubishi was good to say. My first big screen TV was a Mitsubishi, the big box ones.
My TV didn't touch you.
and stuff. So like I said, they made an awesome product, but they didn't evolve. When it got to flat screens, Mitsubishi didn't really. They betted on the wrong horse. They jumped on the Texas Instrument DC is it DLP chip, which wasn't the best scenario, and that chip set in flat screens is just had a poor reliability, poor color. We call it the color profile. It just wasn't as good as some of the other ones.
Mm.
But that chip has dominated projectors for decades. The
Yeah.
DLP chip by Texas Instrument.
I mean, Mitsubishi came big in Second World War when they made most of Japan's fighter planes.
Yeah. Like I said, they did everything. Everything from they start off in aircraft stuff, and over the years, post-war stuff, they made a little bit of everything. Now they talk about you got Mitsubishi cars and like I said, they were into stereos, TVs, just about anything that electronic. Mitsubishi had their hand on it. Now you can hardly find them. Even the cars sales are sliding off quite a bit.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they still make the Shogun.
Yeah. Well, I remember they were real popular.
I had
when
the
they
Shogun.
had the.
That pretty much rivaled the Range Rover at the time.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. There was a real popular car here in the States. There's a Mitsubishi. The Mitsubishi Evo.
Yeah, the Evo.
The little 4-door sedan that was like Drift King.
Well, it was a rally.
Yeah, rally car. And I think that was like I would say that was probably the last big sensation car they put out was that Evo for a rally car.
They did the Mitsubishi GT as well, which was
that was a collaboration because the Mitsubishi GT, was it Pontiac or somebody else made this basically identical car, just give it a different name. But they were identical and stuff. It was
Going back to that bus conversation we had earlier, we just have to remind the Americans, when we say get on at the front of the bus now, not the back, then they get on at the back over. So when we say get on the front, we mean the door, not the windows.
Yeah, we used to have open back buses. Now
Yeah,
we've got
hop on.
then we had doors that you got on at the front and off in the middle, and now it's all off at the front.
The on at the front and off in the middle. They're mainly down the south coast in London, and the only problem with the hop on, hop off back buses was when you're in a wheelchair and you tried to hop on.
Yeah, I know. When I was a kid, you never used to wait until the bus stopped. You always used to jump off the bus while it was coming to the stop and then start running.
Yeah. Yeah, the amount of people used to fall over.
Yeah.
This is why I'm always puzzled why the bus stops are always right at the edge of the pavement. I'm sure some sick bastard in the council office went, when they jump off the bus, we'll whack them with a pole as well. You're looking a bit tired there, Paul.
No, well, I don't sleep that good at night, but yeah. I'm up and down all night long.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's the third dead spider I found this morning on my table.
So, Dre, what's your plans for the day?
Well, I've already been to the gym, so I got that out of the way. My wife's at the store. So, like I said, we'll be packing up here and we'll be heading out around probably around noon.
Okay.
And headed to Vegas. Yeah.
Well, you have a good trip.
Yeah, hopefully we have a safe trip. Have a good time. Last year we went, my wife got sick and I was not feeling 100%. So we just kind of just, muscled through it and couldn't wait to get back home.
Yeah. No place like home, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So hopefully we'll have an uneventful time. It's good. This I would say this year, I will be able to hopefully see more people. And like I said, it's always good to go back and see folks again. A lot of like most of us see each other online on shows like yours. And like I said, it's always nice, as we say in politics, to press the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see some folks that we haven't seen in a year. So looking forward to that part. But I am going to sit in on the mapping class on Friday. It's an all-day class, just to maybe pick up a few pointers here and there. I was on Bob Dempsey's show yesterday, and like I said, I mean, there might be something I have forgotten, or might be some new tips and tricks that I need to learn to get better at doing it.
Are you driving up, Dre?
Yeah, we're driving up. Yeah, we're going to drive up. Like I said, it's only like a 2.5 hour drive where I live at. So, yeah, we're going to drive up and stay at our timeshare and go from there.
Nancy Pelosi announces her retirement.
I say good for her. Don't make no sense to die in office. So I think it should be her, Chuck Grassley, Maxine Waters. Those are the main three. I said, you know what? Your expiration date has already passed.
Yep.
She's 85. Yeah, she's that old.
Because to me, it didn't make no sense for Dianne Feinstein to stay in office as long as she did, and she died in office. I said, to me, that's just being selfish. That's why I'm a big supporter. Yeah, I'm a big supporter of capping limits on age. I mean, nothing wrong. Some people are older and maintain a very sharp mental acuity and everything, but I'm saying 70 years old should be capped at serving in a
Well, wasn't there a big
elected
push?
office.
Wasn't there a big push to cap it at 72 years old? You had to be out of Congress.
It's I don't know about how big of a push, Paul, but there's always been mention about it, especially when you have people like Nancy and other folks, and just like when what's his name from the Republican Party, they call him Kurt Turtle. Was the leader to the Republican Party in the Senate. He turned it over to Thune last year. But like I said, when you see these people get up there and they just go blank out in front of the camera, I say, you know what? That's a telltale. And I mean, it should get before it gets to that point. That's an obvious telltale. You know what? I'm not up to snuff anymore. I need to pass this on to somebody else. Let me go home and enjoy my family, the grandkids, great grandkids, wherever you got. I don't care if it's just you and the wife. Let me go home and enjoy the rest of my life, and not be in this political mess that goes on every day. Because to me, you're failing the people who elect you one thing, because you're not, like I say, you're not on the ball as much as you should be, because you just physically or mentally can't be, one or the other. So you're shortchanging those who elected you in office. And just like Nancy Pelosi has done a lot. She has become a force of nature on her own, of being the first woman of the House, a speaker position, and had it twice even. But my biggest thing is, if she has not looked over the landscape of where she represents, which is San Francisco area, and seen a potential successor for her seat. Now, it's always up to the public to, vote. But you and I both know, Paul, when someone leaves office and they back someone else, most likely that person will become the next representative. Yeah. And I think these people should do that for the benefit of the people in their areas, and say, you know what, I'm gonna go on and go on the greener pastures or whatever, and relax, spend my last several years on earth doing other things with my family. But this is the individual I feel that can continue to do what I did for you guys. This lady's been in office for over 40 years.
Not to get it.
That's all right.
You know, she's been up 40 years. She's been in office.
Well, the obvious thing, Dre, would be to do limits on age,
Mhm.
and
To get
in there say that if, as
That's-
of, if you're elected to office now, you don't have any limit in the age until, you know, but once you're replaced,
But where we stop it?
then
Okay.
Yeah.
nobody can hold that office over the age of 72.
I'm not the.
Yeah, and I can say my thing is either
Okay.
or. Age 72 will be the age limit, but you cannot. I say for the Senate, you shouldn't be able to serve no more than 3 terms, and I say the same
Yep.
thing for the House, no more than 3 terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three
I
terms.
would-
I mean, 'cause like I said, it doesn't make any sense for somebody to make a full career. And like for the Senate, it's easy. 3 terms in the Senate, that's 18 years.
Yeah.
But
You
with
know?
the
So I mean, like you've been there a while.
but with the
And I-
presidency, I would say that should be say 66 or 68. You know, gives you 8 years in office, takes you up to 76.
Mhm. Well, I say president, around the same thing. 72 should be a good limit on that. And I say the same thing because once you get past 72, you are no longer identifying with the majority of the population anymore. Now, I don't know who this guy is in New York. Everybody's got their opinions. Everybody think he's going to rally up all the Muslims and arm them with machetes and cut off all the Christians in New York's heads and stuff and kill all the Jewish people. That's just people's perception of radical Islam. Okay. My thing is this: one of the main reasons people identify with that gentleman is because of his age. He's 34 years old. He represents the majority of the population and the growing majority of the population of the city of New York. So they feel like this guy knows what I feel because he's feeling it too. And like I say, some of our most popular politicians in our history have come from that same type of mindset. JFK, a lot of folks didn't like him because he was Catholic. But on the other hand, people supported him because of his age.
Right.
You know,
what John just put in the chat there, right? That has to just stop right there because if you start bringing kings into America, you're going to end up in one hell of a serious civil war.
You've got in that corner.
Well, that's a whole nother topic there. And
you can't change. You can't change the way America is now to bring in a king. It's not going to happen.
But
Well, the whole
David, that statement is erroneous anyway, and you
Right.
shouldn't even talk about it.
My thing is this: when I tell people I hear statements like that, I said our Constitution was designed and developed us to not ever have a king because that's why the people who first came to America is because of the oppressive rule of monarchs. So they came to America and we established America. That's why we had a Revolutionary War. We didn't want to be under a monarch, period. We want the people to have a say-so. We want elected representatives to represent the people, all that kind of good stuff. So when we talk about making somebody king, you're talking about literally destroying the Constitution, period.
But interestingly enough, what you just said about people leaving to go to America to get away from the monarch, over in the UK, the monarch's days were over anyway. You know, they've been ceremonial for hundreds of years.
Yeah, like I can say, it's had its time, but like you and I both know, there are other countries that still support that thing. It's not that they will the power they all once did in the 1800s and 17 and 1600s. They don't will that kind of power or influence anymore. But they, like you said, they're more ceremonial, and that's across parts of Europe still. Everybody still has the crown prince. Saudi Arabia still goes in that kind of stuff. Who's the king of Saudi Arabia and Jordan? It's King so and so or Princess this. I mean, a lot of countries still have that structure. They just don't have the authority they once had. And here in America, that type of verbiage, it's I say over the centuries that America has been established. We're only going on, like I say, my military branch. We're celebrating 250 years come Monday. And
let
like I say,
let me just go into something controversial here.
mhm,
The way the UK and the US and many other countries have their politics, where you vote every 4 years.
mhm,
Now in the US, I think it's more of a problem over there than it is over here, because over here you can have as many terms in office as you want, as long as the people keep voting for you.
mhm.
But I don't think a president gets enough time to do what he needs to do. 4 years is not enough.
Well, that's what I say. You can serve 2 terms. Now, that's
But the
always
problem is, after your second term, the next person comes in, and if they're not of the same political opinion as you, they
mhm.
can just sign executive orders and just wipe out everything you've done and take your country right back.
Yes, and that has
Where
happened. It's happened quite often that way, where you have different political parties coming to power, and you got to say, why did that political party come into power? Because people didn't like the last one.
Yeah, but that happens over here as well. But if you look at, say, China, the reason
Mhm,
it's so powerful is because their policy's there and it ain't changing. You live with it and you
mhm.
grow with it.
Yeah. Now,
And they're not having to face that fear that the next person coming in is just going to come along and go, hell no, and change it all.
and there's always that fear, and that's why those who are in power in places like China and North Korea have done what they've done over the last 50 years, where they have changed their whatever I want to say constitution, whatever they have, just like Xi Jinping has changed their settings to where he's can be in charge indefinitely. So my thing is, at what point does he or will he relinquish power? North Korea is it's a family deal. North Korea, in back I want to say pre World War II, you had a couple of emperors that
Yeah.
evolved, and then all of a sudden, when they changed over to communism and stuff, it was the father of the current leader who ran it, and it just gets passed down. Like I said, they still run like a monarchy type thing. It stays in the family, so you're going to have that consistency for the most
But then,
part.
do
It's
you
going
not
to
think they're
evolve a
coming to
little
an
bit.
end? They're coming to
Well,
an end. Just look at Syria. Assad. Is it Assad?
yeah,
Yeah. He thought his family were going to be in that for years, for life. And the
right.
people have gone, hell the fuck no, get out.
And that's the key thing you just said. The people. Like I say, monarchies and or whatever you want to call it, type of authoritarian type regimes will come to an end if you don't take care of the people. If the people
Yeah.
feel they are powerless, they are not being well looked after, and you are being abusive, eventually one day they will rise up. I mean, we saw it in China with the whole thing at Tiananmen Square. People
But
try to
that's what I was
rise.
saying back earlier
Yeah,
about China trying to take Taiwan. They
right.
know if they don't do it properly and it
Mm-hmm.
failed. They saw
Mm-hmm.
it. They saw it in Singapore when we handed Singapore back to them, which I
Right.
think is a big mistake, a very big mistake.
Right.
When we handed it back, they thought they were going to just move in there and everything was going to change back to how they want it. And
Mm-hmm.
it still, to this day, has not done that.
No, yeah. Singapore and
Singapore is
Hong
still a
Kong.
problem for China.
Yeah, Singapore and Hong Kong are classic examples of China learning its lesson on how to rule, especially places that have been ruled for 50 to 80 years prior to. Uh, and like I said, you just can't turn the clock back that far.
Yeah.
And that's what people were afraid of, that China was going to come in and turn the clock back to some big suppressive type of oligarchy on those people, and basically Hong Kong and Singapore would have collapsed if they'd have done so. Those two cities and are major in the world economy, global affairs,
Yeah.
and like I say, if you try to just turn the clock back on them, it would be disastrous results.
Yeah.
And I like just to answer Drone Shot's statement in the chat. is like, you know, during the 80s, the Republicans took over in 1980 with Ronald Reagan. They stayed in Republicans stayed in the White House all the way up until 1992, 12 years, two terms with Reagan, one term with Bush Sr. So, like I say, you can have, and like I say, I was totally shocked when Bush Sr. didn't get his second term, and it shows how fickle people are. And they go back and say Bush probably would have won a second term if he would have said, if he wouldn't have said that he needed to raise taxes. But like I say, people get all upset about something, but Bush had just won a major war with almost little to no casualties. The first
Yep.
Gulf War. First time ever happened, American history, you know, up to that point. And he said, how does a president have a war and hardly have any casualties and stuff?
Well,
and
I can only answer that question for you, Dre.
and lose the election, you know.
Yeah. But I can answer that question for you. How do America win a war without many casualties? The British, because the British had already been over there, you know, with the desert troops and stuff.
Mhm.
You know, we knew a lot about desert warfare.
Right.
And America had the firepower in the air where we had, you know, the knowledge on land.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that how, you know, people perceive things in America where that war was, like I say, that was the first full-scale war we've had since Vietnam. And people were terrified over here of American body bags coming back because of what Vietnam. So when this man, you know, this war is all said and done, everybody's patting each other on the back and everything else. Nobody, you know, very few casualties. I think there were more friendly fire incidents than it was from enemy fire incidents of people who did get killed, and that person loses the election. And basically, it came back to kitchen table politics, which what we call it here in America. People vote with their wallets. They can really care less about foreign policy, foreign issues, or anything else. They vote with their wallets. If they feel like, oh, now he's talking about taking money out of my wallet for whatever reason, we're not voting for you. And that's pretty much what's happening now. You know, Tuesday there was a lot of people from the Democratic Party who won some places. Some places got flipped back from Republican to Democrat. New York has always been Democrat city, so that was not a real surprise. They just, once again, they have built up this fear of this individual, and I don't know anything about this guy. I had to look up a little bit about him and his family. The guy was born in Uganda, Africa. Okay, his mother is a famous film director. Matter of fact, one of her films starred Denzel Washington in it from about 20 years ago. The dad's a professor at Columbia University, Ivy League. So my thing is, if you want to really say something about this guy, you can accuse him of being part of the privileged part of America. Families high income earners. He's gone to some of the most prestigious schools in the country. You could have threw that at him, but people jumped on the fact that his family's religious belief is Muslim, and everybody's like, oh, the boogeyman, the Muslim boogeyman is gonna come. He's gonna get in office and he's gonna turn all these jihadists and have them run through the streets and kill all the Jews, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I said, well, I guess the Diamond District will be shutting down.
But the problem is with America, well, not the problem, it's actually good for America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to have been born in the US to run for president.
To be president.
Over here, a Muslim can actually get into our politics and become prime minister very quickly.
Yeah. And like I say, for us here, that's something that's in the Constitution that have been added in, and that was because of the fear of someone coming from the old country, you know, someone coming from UK or from France or from Spain, which were the powerhouses of that era of political, and coming to America and being a agent of one of those countries and trying to convert America back to one of those countries.
Yeah. You jump
So-
in, it's like,
It
So
is a
that's
law we need over here. We need
Yeah.
to change. We do need to change that
Mm.
because we are so susceptible. This is why our politics is
Yes.
so messed up.
and that's why I remember this one comedian. I forgot who it was. I think it was Noah. What's his name? The guy from Africa used to be on the Daily Show, and he was making fun about the UK and the immigration issues there. And he says, "Well, he said the British kind of did to themselves. They went across the globe, kept telling people how great the UK was, how great we do everything, and now all the immigrants are coming to see how great it is, and now you don't want them."
Well, yeah. I mean, there are some people in politics need to think before they speak. Like Nigel Farage has just said, if he gets into power, he's going to do a US style sweep and take out all the foreigners and send them home. And
Mhm.
somebody's like, Nigel, you're in serious trouble when you get home. And he went, why? Your wife's German?
Yeah. And that's what makes it kind of funny, And like I said, these people are talking about this guy, in New York, and I always look at the bigger picture now. Everybody's on the bandwagon here. Not everybody, but a lot of folks were on that bandwagon about getting rid of all the illegal immigrants here in America. And I always state that some folks are still, what they come out consider first or second generation immigrants in America, because people are getting picked up with actual green cards, which means you are a certain classification citizen.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're getting swept up because the person with a green card has to keep getting it renewed every so many years. So those folks are getting caught up and getting detained and getting sent back. So I'm thinking that our vice president right now, his wife is of Indian descent. She is second generation. Her parents were not born here. She was born here, but her parents weren't. So once again, like I say once again, because they're trying to use the law to say that if your parents were not here legally, that means you cannot be here legally. So if her parents came here on a work visa or a student visa, and mama got pregnant and she was born here, that means her status is not in void, according to a lot of people's thinking.
Well, I look forward to the day he gets deported.
Yeah, well, that's just why, just like I said, people need to be careful when they spout stuff about people. I said, do you know who all this encompasses? When you want to talk about, well, we should get rid of everybody, no one gets an exception. If it goes back to the old slavery rules they used to have, where they used to say that if your grandparents were not Americans, you can't be American. You can't buy land.
Various places.
You can't hold property because your grandparents couldn't hold property. And these are the type of rules they were using from state to state. You know? And I tell people all the time, I said, there are states in this country that didn't let my ancestors buy land. The state of Oregon was one of them. It was in their constitution
well, going in,
that blacks could not own property and stuff. Here in the state of California, up until the 40s, mixed marriages were unlawful.
Some solar power.
And like I say, one of the greatest cases in America is the Loving case in Virginia about mixed marriages, where those couples had to flee the state so they wouldn't go to jail. And that case wasn't settled, David, until 1972. The case was finally settled. It started off in the mid 60s, and they didn't settle that case in 1972.
Yeah, it goes to show the way the world is.
Yeah. So that's why I tell people, I said, don't think a lot of the stuff that we're seeing today is new. I say, if you really know our history and study it and realize it, we are repeating ourselves on past mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's why they're saying that, the Supreme Court is, I think right now they're talking about the tariff stuff at the Supreme Court. Does the president really have the authority to issue out the tariffs the way he's been doing? And I was hoping that there's going to be a decision made, but they're just hearing arguments yesterday on this. And we'll find out probably in about another month if the Supreme Court is going to agree that the president has the authority, or should that authority, which it always has been in the past, rest with Congress. So there's a lot of things going on that, you know.
Yeah. We're talking about issuing, if it goes against the president, they'd have to issue refunds or something.
But they were talking about how do you, I guess some $90 million, that been collected, not $90 trillion, whatever the amount is, that has been collected. How do you give that money back? Who does it go back to? And my thing is that's what we call the after action effort. The first thing you got to decide if the president has that authority or not, or should it rest with Congress as it always has been done in the past. And if they say it belongs with Congress, needs to have congressional approval, then you start talking about the method of how you refund or reimburse, because we all know now, as a lot of us have already understood, the tariffs are basically paid upon the consumer.
Yes.
So who's going to get reimbursed? You send a check out to each one of us who have bought things, who continue to buy things, because like I say, if you buy groceries, you buy stuff from Amazon, or wherever you buy whatever it is you bought, it has been subject to some type of tariff increase.
Yeah.
Or will they only refund the stores or the manufacturer or those who brought the products into the country? Will you only reimburse those individuals? So like I said, that's after action report where you can decide on all that kind of stuff. I don't think the Supreme Court should wrap its head around that issue involving the initial issue itself of who actually has the authority.
Mark's coming from a land down. Oh no, he's gone back away.
Yeah, and that's why another concern that people are talking about is on the tip of my tongue about Trump saying that the Senate should do away with the filibuster. Well, it sounds all great and dandy for him to get what he wants done, but one day the Democrats are going to be in charge, and they're going to, and you know what they're going to do? If you guys did it, we can do it too.
Yeah.
So long as we get that 50+1 vote, we'll just go do what we want to do. So like I said, there's a lot of things that our forefathers put in place for a definite reason to protect ourselves. And like I say, presidents who want to do certain things, not use the proper methods. And that's why I tell people it's not so much the policies are bad, it's the method and how it's being done.
Yeah.
I can tell everybody else, I see policies are changed with administration. It's how you do what you're doing to enforce those policies you want done. Are you going through Congress to get approval? And that, like I say, I'm a big supporter of what's going on in the Caribbean as far as attacking these supposedly drug boats, which my thing is, this is still, it's not a congressional authorized war, which every time we have a conflict, it usually has to go through congressional means of giving the president the authority to carry out such activities. Now, they're using the argument that the president is declaring a state of emergency to use the tactics he's using. But when you're only killing people, you're not trying to seize these boats. You're not trying to take these people into custody. And the ones who did survive the attack, the only thing you do with them is send them back to the country. What kind of policy is that?
Yeah, exactly.
I say if you capture the enemy because you're conducting warfare activities, you keep them as prisoners of war. You try to find out more information. You just don't hand them back over to where they came from. How are you gaining more information if you just turn them back over? So, I mean, like I said, it's all about the method. That's why I tell folks, I don't have anything much wrong with the policies that are being implemented. It's the method that I have a problem with. The method of not going through the proper channels to get the authorization. Just like the military, my days, we used to have rules of engagement. What are the rules of engagement going to be? You know,
Yeah.
because not one of these boats have fired upon U.S. warship. Not one of them has fired. We have fired. There's been no retaliation of mutual combat. So what are the rules of engagement? There none have been laid out. It's just been fire and forget. And that's not how America has conducted itself in war activities itself. And like I say, if you want to call a state of emergency, you're using the military, there are things like rules of engagement that are supposed to be followed. And when you have survivors or prisoners of war or combat activities, there is rules of conduct. We call all under UCMJ, we call it Uniform Code of Military Justice, and that how prisoners are supposed to be treated. You know, so it's a little baffling. So like I say,
Hey guys, I think I'm going to
out.
call it.
All right.
Everybody have a great day. And Dre, you stay out of trouble. Mark,
I'll
David,
try.
we'll see you again later.
Got it.
Bye for now.
Bye.